George Groves and James Degale had brilliant professional careers, and the build-up to their professional fight was unbelievable. They had a great rivalry that started here, October 2006, in the final of the North West London Divisional Championships at Brent Town Hall. 20-year-old James Degale was favourite to win this fight on the back of winning 2 ABA titles and a Commonwealth bronze medal. But George Groves was the new kid on the block and he was only 18 years old. They both boxed for Dale Youth Amateur Boxing Club and shared plenty of rounds of sparring before this fight. They were very familiar with each other, so they both started very fast, landing some heavy shots in the opening round. Degale was holding the centre of the ring and he got the better of most of the early exchanges. Round 2 was another very close round. Groves was more aggressive and throwing some big shots. You could tell that they were very focused. Anytime someone overcommitted, they got countered. Round 3 is when things started to change. This was a much better round for George Groves. He was on the front foot and he was far more aggressive and completely outworked Degale. In this round, it looked like Groves was the hungrier fighter who wanted to win more, and it looked as if Degale was starting to get tired. This didn't change in the fourth and final round. Groves finished very strong and won that round big. He worked very hard and threw a lot of punches, making it uncomfortable for the awkward James Degale. Groves won this fight by majority decision, and it's a fight that could have went either way in my opinion. I thought Degale edged the first 2 rounds, and I know that Groves definitely won the second 2 rounds. Degale wasn't happy with the decision, and this is when the rivalry begins. Groves went on to win the ABA Championships at the end of 2006 and won it again in 2008, the year of the Beijing Olympics. After their amateur fight, they began to train at different times in Dale Youth Boxing Club. And then in February of 2008, both James Degale and George Groves were invited to Sheffield for a small tournament. This was going to help to decide who was going to represent Great Britain at the Beijing Olympics. Groves lost to the Frenchman, and he was then beaten by the world and Olympic champion Artayev from Kazakhstan. The pressure was then on Degale, who went on and beat those 2 same opponents. This meant that James Degale was sent to the Olympic qualifiers. A couple of months later, he won the Olympic gold medal in Beijing, and he turned pro with Frank Warren in 2009, winning the British title in only 9 fights. After missing out on his Olympic dream, George Groves turned pro at the end of 2008 with Adam Booth, and he won the Commonwealth title in 9 fights. Groves and Degale had a massive fight in 2011 for the British and Commonwealth titles. This was the co-main event in Nathan Cleverly's world title fight at the O2 Arena in London. The build-up to this fight was absolutely legendary, and I'll never forget their episode on Sky Sports' Ringside Show. This was a very close fight, just like their amateur fight. And again, George Groves won by majority decision. Even though he lost, Degale became European champion in his next fight, and he stayed undefeated for over 6 years, also winning the IBF world title against Andre Durrell. Groves fought for the world title 3 times before finally becoming WBA world champion in 2017. It's a pity we never got a fight between these two again when they were both world champions. They both had great careers with some huge wins, and the question is, who had the better career?